Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel where I discuss all sorts of topics surrounding intuitive eating, body positivity, mental health, and all sorts of fun stuff. Today I'll be discussing intuitive eating and the struggles that go along with it that aren't often talked about. My videos are usually based off of my own experiences or research, but if you relate to something, definitely let me know in the comments section. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Let's get started. Intuitive eating is a struggle. In our society so focused on diet culture and looking a certain way, it's inevitable that your goals with intuitive eating will be misunderstood. Maybe you don't even understand it yourself fully, but you're on this journey anyway in hopes of this elusive food freedom that you've heard about. From these misunderstandings, people will think that you've given up. Given up what? I don't know. If you're fat, maybe they'll think you've just given up losing weight. If you're not fat, maybe they'll just think you just don't care anymore. But luckily, intuitive eating is so personal that it doesn't really matter what other people think. Now, I know I talk a lot on my channel about caring what other people think, and that could just be my own insecurities, but I think it's important to talk about because I think that a lot of us care what people think more than we often want to say, so I think it's an important thing to consider and address. Again, like I said, intuitive eating is so personal, it really doesn't matter what other people think of us, but it's still something I wanted to bring up. That being said, it's a long, hard journey, and it deserves to be talked about because we all deserve to be free of diet culture and its bullshit, especially those of us who have let unnecessary rules make us feel bad for existing around food. So let's talk about it. If you're unfamiliar with what intuitive eating is, check out my video linked above where I go further in depth about what it means and what I've learned on my journey so far. Okay, so here are the struggles I face and used to face a lot more surrounding intuitive eating. Number one is not being able to read hunger cues after years of disordered eating. I feel like this isn't talked about enough. Sure, it's easy enough to just say just eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. But if you've been in a cycle your whole life where you ignore your hunger when restricting or ignore your fullness when you finally eat, it feels nearly impossible to be able to tell. Luckily, intuitive eating can give you grace if you do something that doesn't feel too good. It's not about guilting yourself for feeling out of control, and that feeling has definitely dissipated since I started. I'm much more in tune with my body's signals now, but it's still a struggle sometimes. Number two is experiencing a sense of guilt around feeling full. In my experience, this comes from back when I was counting calories, and it was too few calories for my body, even when I was trying to lose weight. If I felt full at the end of that day, I could be pretty sure I'd gone over my calorie limit. I got so stressed out about it and panicked. This is, again, something that has dissipated quite a bit, but still comes up every now and then. That being said, I definitely trust my body a lot more to know what it needs without needing to overfill myself or undereat. Number three, balance. Intuitive eating involves the concept that all food is neutral and has its place. Some food might be better for your body in that it's more nutritious, but other food is fine as well. This part of intuitive eating is hard because it's complicated sometimes and involves making choices for your own body that might contradict what you initially think you want. Some people think that intuitive eating is just eating whatever you want all the time, whatever you're craving, and I do think that doing that can be important at first, especially if you're coming from a dieting mindset. However, an important part of intuitive eating is knowing also what makes you feel good, not just what you're craving. If I'm dying for chocolate, but I know it won't make me feel good, perhaps sometimes I'll decide not to have it and eat an apple instead. Sometimes I will eat the chocolate and the apple, but I won't judge myself for any choice that I make. However, it's about making choices mindfully, and sometimes the mindful choice can include eating the chocolate or the apple, vice versa. Number four, wanting to lose weight. I talk a lot on my channel about body neutrality and body positivity, and I think it's important to accept yourself regardless of appearance because our bodies change so much over time. That being said, I think a lot of us, no matter how body positive, have the urge to lose weight now and then. Now, I'm not going to comment on if that's good or bad. The point is that, in my opinion, it's important to fix one's relationship with food before pursuing any sort of body modification. For me, if I were to try and lose weight right now, I would slip back into unhealthy habits of restricting too much and then binging. I don't really binge anymore, and I don't want to regress back to that. For me, engaging in healthy behaviors at the weight I'm at now is more important to me than how my body looks. It's still a struggle struggle though, because as a person who's tried to lose weight almost my whole life, those thoughts do come back now and then. It's a little scary to rely on your instincts of how much to eat and when, especially when you've been tracking your whole life. Number 5, the journey is long, like years long. I guess for some people it might be shorter, but it's really long for me. However, it does get easier over time, and it's not linear. It's really easy to fall back into a diet culture mentality, especially around family. There are definitely more difficult days than others, which leads me to the last point. Number 6. Now that I've been on this journey a while, it's frustrating to see intuitive eaters promoted by people who have no idea what they're talking about. I love watching the dietitian Abby Sharp here on YouTube, who reviews a number of people's videos on what they want to eat in a day, and they often say contradictory things about intuitive eating. It's not intuitive eating to restrict whole food groups, unless there's a medical reason, of course. It feels like a lot of people use the phrase intuitive eating to promote disordered behavior. Similarly, people might be led to thinking that healing from disordered eating automatically means weight loss, when it doesn't necessarily. Number 7. I get so frustrated seeing thin folks praised for intuitive eating, but fat folks get criticized when they do the same thing, or even when they're restricting calories. That will always frustrate me. Luckily, I know why I'm on my own personal journey and why weight doesn't matter. Number 8. The doubt. As I said, this isn't a linear journey, and the bad days have me questioning if I can actually trust myself or if the journey's even for me. The thing I've noticed is that the bad days usually come after a day that I didn't eat enough, or I'm tired, or some external factors going on. Rarely there are bad days just because I'm incapable of trusting myself or something like that. And then the good days make me so glad that I started years ago. There are days that I feel amazing regardless of my size, and I just enjoy food for what it is and just live my life. Those days are usually when I'm focused on nourishing my body in multiple ways, both nutrient-wise and craving-wise. I love the journey though. I've noticed patterns within the last couple months that have made me realize how much more aware I am than I used to be. For example, if I eat a lot one day, I'm not as hungry the next day, or vice versa. Previously, I would have felt guilty if I was eating more in one day for seemingly no reason, but now I know that my body knows how to balance itself out, or I'll be hungrier after a day that I ate less than usual. Another thing is that food is just more enjoyable in general. Veggies aren't something I have to eat, they're something I want to eat. Sweets aren't a forbidden treat, they're just a normal food I can have if I want, or not, and a lot of the time I don't want. So let me know what you guys think. Is this a journey you're on? Is this something you struggle with? Is this something you're interested in? Intuitive eating, I mean? Let me know. I love talking to you guys in the comments. And remember to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!